people from the county in Newport would come over here to get them a Coca Cola, 6 ounces, and put 2 ounces of white whiskey in it, walk all over Main Street down there. So the times have changed, but they didn't put signs up flashing what they did.
And this is gonna be from,
Do you want to separate the two then, or on the road, or what?
I would just remove Christmas on Main from it and just only put forth the motion that we approve a special occasion permit for December 31st.
Okay. Does anybody else feel the same way?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
I think I do. Because it's, I don't think you need to mix the two. Look, I drink, okay, drink a lot more than I should probably, but I think you need to separate the two.
You think price is more important than beer?
Absolutely.
Most of the time. I don't agree with that.
I don't know, I've been to a number of Christmas parties where alcohol's been served, I don't know.
Well, that's
Just
a
have a
private
wonder.
Christmas party.
That
That's a
wasn't named.
private Christmas party, not on Main Street of Morristown.
Well, we're not having a church service on Christmas on Main. If you're saying it's a religious service, I can understand your argument, but this
But
is
what
a
does
retail.
Christmas mean, Gary?
I think I know what it means.
I'm not saying you don't, I'm just asking you, what does Christmas mean?
Well, what does it mean?
It means we're celebrating Christ's birthday. Is that not what it means? I mean, have I missed a picture somewhere in my 63 years?
It shouldn't be beer, it should be wine. That's what he turns to water.
Well, I don't know. I could care either way, doesn't matter to me, but I can see Kay's point on it. You could send a very, very bad signal, but you also gotta realize it's 2021.
I would guess that there'll be more children down there on December 4th than there'll be on the 31st.
I don't think it's a matter of children or a matter of Christianity. I think if we're trying to turn this into a religious statement, it's not a matter of ethics, it's a matter of well, we may be trying to be a little more sanctimonious than we need to be.
My question is, why is, and I'm not saying it's wrong, why is the beer related to the event and Christmas? I mean, what about Jack Daniels or
Well, it's,
what? I don't
you're
understand.
approving it because it's beer.
Yeah, we
You're
don't have sales
jurisdiction over it.
Oh, so otherwise it's not,
It's a state,
okay.
but really, Christmas on Main is about commerce and bringing business downtown.
And give it a different name.
Holiday on Main?
That's fine, Holiday on Main.
Well, then let's vote to change the name, and you're all right with that?
No, I'll vote against it, but that's okay.
Well, no, I just think that's,
It ain't
So,
gonna
I think
matter.
that's
Y'all ain't
hypocritical.
gonna work that out tonight.
I
Look,
think it's hypocritical.
in 9 minutes, you ain't gonna work that theory out. Let's just move on.
It may be 2021, but we don't have to accept everything that's to becoming 2021.
Well, I'm just upset that you left out whiskey and wine.
Absolutely.
That's-
I agree with
It's
you.
unfair.
Because
The
we
chamber
don't,
should have
And
followed
white
that.
whiskey too.
we don't have jurisdiction over liquor.
That never stopped us
You need to
before.
get a hold of the air
Yeah, it is.
of
How do
popcorn.
you feel?
I don't like it anytime.
I think you did a good, I really do believe you did a good compromise there. I agree with what you're saying. I think if you celebrated his holiday on Main, it's a little more palatable.
So is the compromise, we will approve it on the condition the name is changed to Holiday on Main.
Anything other
You all right?
than Christmas. Are you okay with that, Deborah?
If you'll separate the two so I can make my vote no.
I think if the name was changed to Holiday on Main, I think we would get more criticism for changing it away from Christmas. I think personally it would be more palatable to just forego the beer. I mean, that's what, I think the criticism of, people get a lot of criticism for using the term Happy Holidays.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they get criticized for
Yeah,
that.
oh, yeah.
Even though it includes Thanksgiving and New Year's and whatever else you're celebrating at. But I think if we change the name,
That's a good point.
that would be that would not be palatable. So I think giving up the beer for that event would be more palatable. I haven't talked to Heather about it, but
You all have, can you check on that, let us know if you have a problem with it?
well, she'll be here tonight, but I don't know.
I think Deborah has a good point, because how long did we work to get Christmas, Merry Christmas back?
I mean, if
that's another fight that.
we
Christians
changed
have
from the Christmas parade to the holiday parade, you know, my mother's been in the grade 9 years, and she's still probably turning over when people talk about holiday parades instead of Christmas parades. So,
Well,
I think, for me, if my name were on the, well, I probably wouldn't have done a beer permit for Christmas on May either, but I think it would be more palatable to just give up the beer for Christmas on May.
Ken, you're downtown, what's your opinion?
Well, like I was telling Kay, I don't like to vote for it anytime. I'm a teetotaler.
Yeah,
And that's the reason I keep my mouth shut.
another point, 1907 would be open. If
Yeah.
people want to go get a beer, they can go to 1907.
Yeah.
And it will be
Why
open.
don't you just withdraw that one then?
That, that would be what I would rather it be withdrawn than to be voted down.
can we just make a motion, and the motion, they can both be presented, the motion could be that we approve it for New Year's and don't say anything?
I mean, they were separate permits, is my understanding.
They're on one, they are separate family
They're in
permits,
one
but they're.
motion, but
one-
You can separate.
Well, you can make,
Why don't-
if you make the motion, you can put it in your language of the motion where you mention one and omit the other. without-
Why don't you just is Heather the one that submitted the
And she'll-
application to Ken?
She is.
Why don't you just go get her to ask Ken if it can be withdrawn, and then all Ken would be presenting to you all would be the December 31st
She'll be
one.
here tonight, so.
Get him to do that right before the meeting.
Yeah, yeah, just go ahead and get the notes, so Ken knows that's all he's presenting.
I think that'd be cleaner, you
No,
know.
no Kwanzaa on me, no,
One thing at a time.
Hey, I'm just, you know.
Better be careful.
1907.
One thing
All right.
at a time.
All right, we got 5 minutes. I looked at the clock, 5 minutes.
Get on the
Yeah,
back.
no,
and
we're-
withdraw.
Okay, I have a question about number 11.
You're back on the council agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Under the purchases.
Yes, sir. This is LDA, or a DIA.
DIA, yes,
$807,000 for the city center renovation project.
yes.
And I don't know if anybody else has concerns about that or not.
Do we know what's happening?
Yeah, we went out to bid, Rick will be here to talk about it if you have, he's gonna be here tonight to talk about the scope of the project. We've been trying for years to get it done, we got one bidder, it's been a pulling teeth to get people.
Is this going back to the bulletproof glass and the speakers in the windows and all
Not
that
speakers,
stuff?
but Rick can talk about those designs, but it's mostly,
I'm not for that.
mostly getting walls for offices and detectives and those things that you need to function.
Well,
I
let
don't
me say
understand
this.
how we can
Go
make
ahead.
sure that we are remodeling and bringing up to date, the city center, which is in pretty good shape, and then and this is for the employees of the city center, and we've got the tennis courts and some other things that need to be renovated for the people, but we're claiming we don't have the money to do that, but we're claiming we do have the money to do this.
No, this is still, they're both in the same ballpark, we gotta scramble for some additional.
I thought this
funds.
was the money that was coming from
Part of
the
it is,
state.
part of it is, but the $800,000 won't be covered by that CARES money.
I just think that this is the people's building, and when we separate, and I don't know what they're doing in their offices, that's perfectly okay, you know, whatever makes it more
But it
efficient.
would be interesting to know that.
Well, we've had multiple workshops on it,
No,
but
we've only had one
We
workshop.
We had one workshop that
we've
we
been working
turned,
on this for years.
we have been involved in one thing that we said we didn't particularly like.
Okay,
And then it went back, and then it came up as $807,000.
all right, well, If you don't wanna do it, we can just vote no.
No, it's
No,
not
I don't
what
think
we
we
do.
wanna vote no,
I
I
want this
just
to
think we
be
need more
people's building,
information.
that they feel comfortable in being here and not feel like that they're in an area where, I mean, we could end up being like the smart banks and having people on camera and TVs and stuff.
Put Sean on the screen.
Yeah.
Could we pull it from the agenda and have another opportunity to talk about it?
Larry, how long are the bids good for, do you know?
As long as we want to be.
60 days, I believe.
I mean, the bidders got 60
I know
days.
it's gonna last.
But
That's
when
what
we're
it
gonna-
should be.
We haven't really seen any more, it was just, and we didn't get anything to, he was gonna go back, and I think you even asked him if he could go back and look at some different flooring.
Hey, we don't know what we're bidding on. We're gonna spend $800,000, somebody else's money. We're obligated to know what it is.
Exactly.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
are you wanting, what we wanna do is work the price down, is that?
No,
I just
don't
wanna know
think
what
that's
they're doing.
it. We'd like to know what we're
Find out
bidding
what we're
on.
buying, just wanna know what we're buying.
And you said we're gonna have to scramble to get money.
Mhm.
All right, well, then we need to know how we're gonna scramble, because we've got tennis courts and. other
tennis
things.
courts and roads and a number of projects, you're correct.
Let me ask another question here while we're talking about this.
Okay.
Right, we've got employees that we're having a hard time, different departments, but just for an example, the police department has a budgeted amount for the employees they were gonna hire,
All
right?
right,
Okay, if that money, and they don't make these hirees, where does that money go at the end of the fiscal year?
a lot of times it gets adjusted to other line items in the budget, but if it's not spent and not reallocated, it goes to fund balance.
You know what that
That's, I guess that's the thing, because we're having, and that's just one department, I know there's probably 11 to 15 people. I don't know about public works, I'm not talking to Paul or nobody else about that, so in essence, the council contingency fund, for example, if we don't spend it, we change something, that it comes back into the fund.
It gets assigned to a work account.
No, I thought that finance committee passed about council contingency that is not used gets to roll over now.
It
Up
goes
to
into
$150,000.
an assigned account and fund balance. It's not appropriated yet,